Taylor and Polly here from Beaten Jeans, and we have another interview for you today. We're talking to Christine, and Christine has had a gastrectomy and mastectomy, so she has a lot of information for us, and we are excited to bring her in. What's her
Fody09.
F-O-T-Y. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and invite her in. Having a good day, had a good weekend.
Christine is a fellow CDH1er.
There's a lot more of us than we think, I believe.
I was just looking, there's only 800 people on the Facebook, 1,800 people.
I bet it's going to grow.
Probably.
There's more genetic testing. We were talking to John from No Stomach for Cancer, and he's trying to get CDH1 on the panel for the genetic testing for 23andMe. And for some reason, they're denying it. So that's interesting.
Well, I think it probably has to do with family history.
It might, yeah.
Because it's such a devastating diagnosis.
I don't know. But I think the more people that get tested, the number's going to keep rising.
Right.
All right. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, she's on.
She's on. Christine, we're going to invite you. We're going to try this one more time. Just tap that accept button on the bottom of your page.
Hopefully you're on your phone. It only works on your phone. Instagram is a phone app, not a computer app.
Hi, Shelby. Let's see. Just give us a minute to get this going. Oh, here we go.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm actually got a little bit of a cold right now, but I'm doing okay.
I swear every single person I know is sick right now.
Yeah, I did a COVID test, but I was negative, so that's good.
Good.
Well, there still are other diseases out there.
Exactly.
Oh, we hope you
feel better. Are you okay doing that?
Thank you. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. There's some tapping going on. Polly has construction going on. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but if you're wondering what that is, it's someone working on the roof, I guess. But.
Oh.
So where are you?
I'm in Nashua, New Hampshire.
Okay,
New Hampshire.
Awesome. Oh, you're far. All right. Cool.
Yeah. I know. I messed up with the time. I thought I was doing Central Time instead of Mountain Time.
Oh,
so
shoot.
It's like,
So you've been waiting.
yeah.
Oh, no.
no.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Well, welcome, and we're excited to talk to you and hear your story.
Yeah, you've had quite a lot.
Thank you. Yes, I have. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We were reading about your, you did like a brief on the Facebook group, and we were reading it the other day. So this all started, I guess your sister was encouraging you to get a mammogram because she found something on her breast and kind of got the ball rolling there. Is that how it started?
No,
Oh.
no, not at all. So I had a mammogram. I had just a routine mammogram in September of 2015 or October. I don't know. I always did it right after my kids went back to school because it was like, take care of me. And I went to the gynecologist first, and I had a breast reduction 5 years prior, and I felt a lump, but I had the mammogram 3 weeks earlier, so I just thought, oh, it must be scar tissue. They didn't see anything on my mammogram. And so I mentioned it to my gynecologist, and he was like, let's send you for an ultrasound just to be sure. Now, I don't know that all doctors would have done that, having a clean mammogram 3 weeks prior.
Right.
And so he sent me in for an ultrasound, and they actually found something, called me back, did a biopsy, and like, boom, breast cancer, just started everything.
Wow.
So
You were pretty young, right?
I was 48. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So I opted to have a mastectomy December of 2015. And then when I came out from the mastectomy, they told me, they staged the cancer and everything, and it was stage 3B, and it was invasive lobular carcinoma.
Wow.
So they said I needed to have chemotherapy because it was in my lymph nodes. So I started chemotherapy in January And I had this new young doctor from Mass General up here in New England, which is a really great hospital. And he had just started. He was kind of young and fresh. And he's like, you know, your father passed away when you were 6 years old in 1975. And he had stomach cancer. So there's a link to this type of breast cancer and stomach cancer. I'd like you to do a genetic panel. So I'm the youngest of 7. And none of my other siblings or nobody really had cancer. I had 2 cousins on my fraternal dad's side that had died, you know, from cancer, but it was never stomach cancer. It was, you know, different cancers that kind of, now looking back, I think it was in fact stomach cancer. One was esophageal and one was just a multiple of cancers. And she did have cancer in her stomach. So anyway, so I did the genetic panel thinking nothing, you know, of it. And then it came back and I was getting chemo one day and they came and sat and talked to me and said, you have this genetic mutation. And I was like, and they're like, you have to get your stomach removed. And I'm like, what? You're crazy.
Right.
I'm not getting my stomach removed. Like, how am I going to live? How am I going to eat? What's going to happen to me? And so that was the one doctor. So then I went to Boston. I went to Dana-Farber, which is one of the best hospitals in the world. People come from everywhere to go there. And I went there and they told me the same thing. And I'm like, I'm not getting my stomach removed. So I went to another hospital in New Hampshire that was a teaching hospital.
Tell you can keep it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they told me the same thing. And so I was like, well, I guess this is the beginning of my journey. So I finished chemotherapy and then I had to do radiation. And so because I already had, so it was 4.5 months of chemo and then 6 weeks, 40 treatments of radiation. So I didn't finish till June. And so in June, I talked to my doctor. And because I already had breast cancer, I was so scared that I was going to have cancer in the other breast that I was like, I want to do the mastectomy first.
Yeah.
So, and I kind of already knew what that was like. So I was less fearful of it.
You mean because you had the reduction already?
No, because I had the mastectomy in December for the breast cancer.
On one side. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So I said, I just want the other one gone. I just want it gone. So I opted to do a prophylactic mastectomy in July. So I was just about 6 weeks out from radiation. And my body was pretty beat up.
Yeah.
I had the mastectomy and I think in September I got an infection and I had to go back in.
Oh.
And, you know, because I had done reconstruction on the other side. And when, you know, I think looking back, if that's the one thing that I could tell women is if you don't know, like, because they don't know the staging or they don't know the severity of your cancer, right? So if you're diagnosed with breast cancer, like, you can always go back and reconstruct, but once you start it, you have to finish it. And so for me, reconstructing my breast was the least of my problems. Saving my life was more important. And here I had this genetic mutation and I needed to save my life.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I went back, I got an infection. I had to have surgery in September and I didn't know my gastrectomy was scheduled for December.
Oh.
And I didn't know if it was going to happen because, you know, I think I was on like maybe 10 surgeries by then.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So they did do the gastrectomy in December and, you know, my body was really depleted. It had been through. And so I was pretty sick from it. And then
December of that same year when you finished the radiation, you did the mastectomy. And then that December, that same year, you did the gastrectomy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that is a lot for you to take on mentally too.
Right? Yeah, but I mean, I had to. They kept pushing me like, you have to do this. You have to do this. It wasn't like a choice to wait. You know, so I did the gastrectomy in December and I was very sick. And 3 weeks later, came back. I had, in fact, stomach cancer and didn't know it. So it was stage 1. was not, I had a tumor. I had 75 sites and a tumor in my second layer. So I had a lot of stomach cancer.
Wow,
Thank
75. Did they do
Yeah.
a preliminary screening of your stomach?
Yeah, in May of that year, that was the thing. In May, when I finished chemo, I went and had a screening, and they did the, endoscopy with all the biopsies, and nothing,
Wow.
nothing,
Nothing.
And
No
you had
not one.
75 spots at
Yeah, so that's why I
Uh-huh.
did the mastectomy first, because they said if they found something in the stomach, they would have done that first. But
Right.
because they didn't find anything, they said I could wait. So I waited, took care of the breasts first, and then did the gastrectomy.
Right.
And then the rapid weight loss. And I was just so sick that at one point I didn't eat anything for 6 weeks but popsicles and watermelon. I threw up every day. I was so sick. So my gallbladder went, and then I had to go back in, get my gallbladder removed. And they had to reroute my gastrectomy because the bile was just coming back up. My surgery was open. It was 15 and a half hours.
Wow.
It was really.
Had they done a previous gastrectomy? Did they have experience with it?
Yes, my surgeon actually trained with Vivian Strong at Sloan Kettering.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why I chose her. Well, actually, I chose her because she did breasts and stomach. So I was like, oh, you can do them both at the same time. And she was like,
No
yeah,
way.
Can you imagine recovering from that?
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
no. So I went back.
Go back in to have them fix the reflux that you were having.
Is that what
Yeah.
last week we interviewed somebody, they were actually going to move the
Yes, they rerouted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
brought it down lower so the bile has further. Is that
Exactly.
and did that resolve that for you?
It did, but I went septic because I was so sick.
Oh
So
my gosh.
I actually went to heaven and back.
Did you?
You
I
did.
did.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was in the hospital for 6 weeks at that point. And I was really, really sick. I didn't think I didn't make it, but then I came back.
So they coded you. You had to have CPR?
I didn't code. I just went to I was on a ventilator, and I just went, and my mom had passed away, and she came and she said, it's not your time, you have to fight.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. That's so wonderful.
So you got to talk to your mom?
Yeah. It was so bright, and she was with a bunch of people, but I couldn't see any of them. All I just saw was a bunch of people behind her, and the only face I could see was hers.
Oh,
And she just told me it wasn't my time.
wow.
And from that day forward, I just kept getting better and better every day.
Wow.
Like nobody thought I was going to make it, and I did.
Wow.
Oh.
That's so cool, actually. That's wonderful. She was with you and she saved your life.
So every day I do feel like a miracle, I feel like, because I saw it. And even now, like, I'm not afraid to die, but I still want to live, but I know what it's like. So it's not scary to me.
Wow.
Right. You know you're going to be there with your mom.
Yeah.
When
I know some people.
When you woke up from that moment, did you was it just like this epiphany, like, oh my gosh, I had a second chance at life? Or did it take you a while to kind of like process?
No, my surgeon was there, and she was amazing. And she said, I said, I can't do this anymore. And she said, you have to keep fighting. You're going to make it. And I think with her and what I had experienced, it just definitely, I can't explain it, why it took a while. It wasn't like it happened overnight. I didn't recover, but every day I would get a little stronger, a little stronger. I was really weak,
And you were there for 6 weeks. So how much longer after that experience did you have to stay in the hospital till you were able to go home?
5 weeks.
5 more weeks.
So it happened about a week in, yeah.
And do they attribute that to the chemo and the radiation and just having your breast removed?
All those
Is it just like the
surgeries.
compounding thing that made you so
I think I think it was just like my body just had nothing left. And, the lack of nutrition and just the chemotherapy was really tough. And then the radiation and surgery after surgery. In the end, it was 13 and a half surgeries in 2.5 years.
Oh my gosh. And how long
You
has it
know,
been since your last surgery you had?
that was 2017, 20, no, yeah, 20, the end of 2017, I
4 years.
finally had the final reconstruction. Yeah.
wow.
Wow.
Now,
Yeah.
did you have any symptoms in your stomach? Did you have issues with your stomach at all? Mm-mm.
Zero.
Oh, family history of stomach cancer, except
Just
maybe a cousin and your
my
dad
dad.
sick.
My dad died from stomach cancer when I was 6 in
Oh, okay.
1975. So they
Okay.
didn't know anything about, this but like I said, I was the youngest of seven, so none of my siblings had it. Like, you know,
Have they
it just
since
seemed,
tested?
yeah, well, one of them, my brother tested negative, and my other brothers died from cystic fibrosis when I was younger, so they're not alive anymore. And I have two sisters. One of them tested, and she opted for the surgery. Um, and then I've had 10 cousins on my dad's side that have done it
That
Have
have
because
had
of
the
me.
surgery?
Yeah,
Wow, 10? Oh my
Did
gosh.
yeah.
anybody have advanced cancer?
None of them were advanced. They were early stage if they had it, and some didn't have it. But
Oh my
you
And
goodness.
is
know.
everybody recovering well?
Yes, everybody's doing really well, really well.
You guys have a
So,
big support system, all of you together.
yeah, we do. It's, we're kind of scattered throughout the country. So, but we do, the Facebook group was saved my life because I didn't know anyone and I felt so alone. And, that's why I'm so active in this because I just felt like I just had no one else had experienced it. I didn't know how to eat. I didn't know, and nobody knew how to handle it.
Right.
The doctors did, of course, and the, nutritionists and stuff like that, but I didn't have a personal connection that I could be like, hey,
Right.
and I said when someone's a drug addict or an alcoholic, what's the first thing they do? They go to a support group. And there was nothing, except for what I found online.
And you were the
And
first in your family to take the leap.
right, right.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, goodness for that Facebook
Yeah.
group.
Yeah, it
Sometimes
really
it's
helped.
hard though, that group. There's a lot of sad stories,
Right.
but there is a lot of support also.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of encouragement.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So you're doing good 5 years later? Like how is life?
I, it's good. I I just live every day and everything's good and I'm happy. I have a good outlook. It's hard for me to look in the mirror sometimes
Hmm.
because I feel like I lost a lot.
Right. Hmm. Yeah, a big part of you.
So
Literally. Yeah.
loving myself is difficult.
Hmm.
Yeah. Or have you gotten any therapy?
I have, and I don't want to feel this way, but I can't help it.
Right. Right.
Yes, of course.
I know all the tools, but it's just hard. I feel like I've just lost so much. And I'm thankful and grateful, and I'm not saying that, but just when you look in the mirror, you don't see the person that used to be.
Right. Right. Like like physically, do you mean?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
okay. Right.
Yeah, physically for sure.
Right.
My hair's different. My body looks different. My
Mhm.
teeth are different. Like just chemo just really takes a toll on your body and cancer. And, it's like people don't talk about that stuff. They don't talk about the ongoing, my bones. I have osteoporosis now. I've shrank. And,
Really? Do you
yeah.
attribute that to the chemo or to the gastrectomy?
I think it's both. I think it's, a lot of it's the chemo and the radiation. For sure, the osteoporosis is definitely a side effect of chemo, but, throwing up every day for 6 weeks and not having the best, some of my teeth, I had to get them repaired and, those kind of things that radiation in your chest, it affects the glands, the salivary glands, always being dehydrated. It's not good for your mouth, things like that, a lot of people don't talk about that. The physical, when I look in the mirror, my breasts are gone and yeah, I'm reconstructed, but it looks normal to people, but not to me. I have a prosthetic, and when I say that to people, they're like, what? It's like, well, if somebody's missing an arm, they have a prosthetic and you know it. I have prosthetics and you don't know it. Like, it doesn't feel like it's part of me.
Yes, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
But not to say that we think you're beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank
And you
you.
have a beautiful smile.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you're a hairdresser, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So are
Yeah.
you able to like I know our mom is a hairdresser and she's like, oh, it's
Oh,
therapy
really?
time you go to work. So do you
Wow.
feel like all of your clients kind of like talk to you and support you through a lot of it?
Oh, amazing. I couldn't have gotten through it without the amazing support system I had. I have two girls
Yeah.
that are in their 20s and they have the mutation as well.
They
Um,
both do. Oh, I'm so sorry.
yeah,
I am too.
but they don't talk about it, and that's really hard for me.
They're younger yet still, right?
21, well, 25 and 24.
Have you looked at joining the study for them, the NIH study, perhaps?
I mention it, but they don't want to talk about it. They just don't.
It's
They
taken
don't.
years to come to grips with this, so I can totally empathize with them.
Yeah.
But as a parent, you just want your kids to save their lives, but they're
Right.
adults and they have no control over it. So it's really hard.
I know. We just have to think maybe they're still pretty young.
Well, they know their bodies and they, I mean, I think everybody needs to feel it out and do it on their own time.
Yeah. I don't think you can be told you have to do this. You have to feel comfortable doing it because you have to live with your decision.
Right.
And also, they saw me go through
Oh, yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
So, but I keep telling them if you do it now, then you won't have to worry about that.
Right.
It's way worse when you have cancer. I mean, I say every day, breast cancer saved my life.
Right.
Yeah.
It did. Yeah.
It did.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
It
that
did.
young doctor, right?
Yes, you're both your doctors.
Yeah.
Advocated for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was blessed. And, and look at, I saved 10 of my family members' lives.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's all worth it to
Hopefully
me.
they'll watch some of our videos because to me it's made my decision easier listening to all these people with these positive experiences. Although there's been some bumps in the road, for the most part people are living normal, healthy lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. You just learn it's different. It's a different life, but
Yeah.
you learn, you adapt. And, I tell people everything I put in my body, I do it for my body, not for pleasure. Like I don't eat for pleasure. I don't, I eat things that I know that my body needs.
Right.
Right.
It's super
We all
important to
need
me.
to do that
We
with or without a
do.
stove.
Mindful eating instead of mindless eating.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So how is your diet now? Or do you have struggles with bile reflux? Or
Not anymore. It was totally fixed after that surgery. I tend to eat the same things. I'm not a big venture. Like sometimes I'm on a support group and I see people and they eat like a lot. I'm like, wow. I pretty much haven't changed what I've eaten since the beginning. Like I still eat small meals. I mean, it's obviously a little bit more than it was, but I try and stick to, 5 meals a day and I do a lot of protein and, I stick to things that I know I can digest and everybody's so different. That's the crazy thing. Like my sister, she can eat things that I can't eat and, vice versa. I just, so I find things that work and I stick to them.
yeah.
I do a lot of yogurt and soup and chicken and, those kind of oatmeal and, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Just protein, cheese. I do chips.
If you stick to those foods that you know are safe, then you're problem free. You don't have issues.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's incredible. That's good.
Yeah, it really is.
Reassuring.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you said your teeth. So
are you doing like the iron supplement? Or no, it's calcium? Is that the calcium?
I do calcium. Yeah,
okay.
I do calcium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've heard that from several people talking about how their teeth are an issue now. Yeah, I went to the dentist today, and they said because you're eating 6 to 8 times a day, you need to be brushing your teeth more than twice a day.
I eat like 10 times a day.
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Well, it's too. I find dehydration is a big thing for me.
Oh,
Getting the fluids in is really
because the dry mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So like being able to drink. Drinking is harder than eating for me. Strange.
Oh, that is strange. Even all these years later.
What do you drink? Because we've heard an assortment of things that people drink.
So I drink a lot of tea. I drink, whether it's cold tea, iced tea. I do those Crystal Light packets in the water. I can't drink water still to this day.
Yeah.
5 years later, it's so weird. People are like, what? Come on, that's crazy. I'm like, no, it's facts. I've tried, and it's like it automatically you vomit right away. Like it just, I don't know what it is. It's
the surface tension or something like that.
Yeah, the viscosity.
You nauseous?
It goes down and I get bloated immediately, and then I just it's just the strangest.
Is that the same for ice? Like chewing like ice chips? Does that make you nauseous too?
I'm not a big ice chewer, so I don't know. So I drink a lot of tea and pretty much those Crystal Light things.
Right.
And that's pretty much, I drink coffee, like 1 coffee a day, but that's it. And that took me years. It took me years to be able to do it, but now that I can, it's good.
I was looking at the Phase 1 diet, and it was like 1/2 a cup of decaf tea. I was like, wait a minute. I'm gonna need some coffee.
Yeah, you get there eventually. It takes a little time. I do smoothies. I drink smoothies a lot. I'll make smoothies. And then ice cream is probably the biggest food that I miss. No ice cream for me. So, but I got a machine called a Yonana, and you take frozen bananas and you make your ice cream out of that.
Oh, yeah. Have you tried it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh.
You can do all kinds of things with it. It's really good.
Yeah. I make that
add some berries and stuff in there, huh?
Right, exactly. They have you can even put graham crackers and chocolate chips and make like a s'mores ice cream. You can do drops of vanilla extract. You can do all kinds of things. They have all recipes.
Well, that's a nice.
I've never heard of that machine.
It's you have to take frozen bananas.
Protein in there too.
Yeah, peanut butter.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, you sure have had quite the journey.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, we're so proud of you. And look you've got such a positive mindset, and you're here to teach us all how to go down this path, and we appreciate you so much.
Well, if I can help one person, then it was all worth it.
Exactly. Yeah. Sure you did. Yeah. You helped us. So.
You have definitely helped. Absolutely. Do you have any words of advice or maybe something that helped get you through, or any specific something you want to share with the group? Some words of wisdom?
I just think about the breast cancer and the reconstruction. I just think you don't know how you're going to be like everyone, I feel like they kind of happy meal it together and be like, when it's done, you wake up and you have breasts and it's going to be good. And, it's just, I don't think they take it how much surgery you have to have when you have reconstruction. It's layers of surgery. And I think, just if I wish, it would have been presented a little bit different to me, that you can always go back, but once you start, you have to complete the journey in a set time frame. So for me, that would be the biggest thing that I would like to share with women, that, I mean, and you don't know how you're going to feel, like some women, I watch videos and they're like, oh, I have breasts again. And, they're just so happy. For me, I mean, it's not that I'm not happy, but it just doesn't feel like it's part of me. I feel like it's, so, but I don't know how I would feel being flat either. You know what I'm saying? So it's such a difficult thing, but once you start, you can't stop.
Right.
So,
how many breast surgeries did you have altogether? 5?
so yeah, it was a lot because you have to have so I had the first mastectomy with the expander, and then you got to go every week and get the expander filled. And then they got to do the exchange of the expander to an implant, but they didn't even do that. And then I had the second mastectomy, so that would be 2, 3, and then I had infection in that expander, so that was 4. And then I had to have the exchange of both, so that was 5. Then you had to have, well, fat grafting and some other stuff around, so 6. So it was probably six surgeries in the end when it was all said and done. So that's a lot,
Yes.
on one's body.
Yeah.
So
just that alone.
yeah.
So it sounds to me like the breast surgery was more difficult for you than the gastrectomy, even though you almost died from your gastrectomy.
No, the gastrectomy was still by far worse.
Yeah.
It was just longer and like harder recovery. But I think because the breast surgeries were just so ongoing, so many of them, in a small span of time, I think that's what made it hard. But the gastrectomy was really hard because it was open. I mean, some people get it laparoscopically. I wish that would have happened for me, but it didn't, So
I think a lot of technology has changed even just within this last couple of years. I wonder.
She tried to do it
differently now.
She tried to do it robotically, but you get in there and your anatomy sometimes just doesn't. My esophagus wouldn't stretch to make the connection. She couldn't, Oh, and then when they did that, the pathologist didn't do it properly, and so he did like a biopsy of the connection, but it was just a small, where when you do someone with a CDH1 mutation, the surgeon said you have to do the whole layer across, not just like a cross section of it. So then they were like, maybe they would have had to go in and take more because they didn't know if they got clean margins, and I had to go back, and they ended up doing a radio frequency ablation of my esophagus to sort of burn the anastomosis site to make sure that if there were any cells left behind. And again, my surgeon didn't have to tell me that. She could have said, oh, the pathology is good, but she said they didn't do it right. And they did it, but that it would have been for a normal, like maybe a bariatric surgery, but not for someone with the CDH1 mutation, because you got to take the whole thing.
Right.
And he just did like a section of it.
Wow.
So that was another surgery I had to go back for. So it was quite a few.
You've been on the journey, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I had my 5-year CAT scan in November, and my surgeon said after 5 I was done.
Yay!
So that's a positive thing for this year. Thank you. Yeah. So the rate of recurrence after 5 years is really, really high before 5 years, but after it diminishes quite a bit. So I'm super happy about that.
Tamoxifen or
yes, I do the anastrozole. I'm on anastrozole because I was premenopausal when I got the cancer. So I'm on that, and this is my 6th year, I think. And she said 5 at first, and then she said 10. And I have some side effects, joint pain, and et cetera. But I'm debating how long I'm going to actually continue to do it.
Yeah.
It's so hard because if I stop at 7, then, and then the cancer comes back, then do I blame myself for not going to 10? But, you have to look at quality of life. And if my joints are hurting me and, it's creating side effects, it's a big decision.
It is.
But right now I'm on it and I'm tolerating it. It's not perfect, but I'm tolerating it.
Yeah. Wow, you
So
made it so far. What a proud feat.
No.
yeah,
Great
I'm so
holiday to celebrate that.
Yeah.
it was amazing. It was, I get so stressed when I get the scans, because you're just waiting for it to, and then, when it's over, it's like, oh, I can breathe for another year. And now I can breathe forever, I don't have to worry about it.
Good.
So that
So
was
happy
huge,
for you.
really. Yeah, I'm really happy about that.
Oh, well, you've been so wonderful, and we just so much appreciate you opening up and sharing your secret, or not your secrets, but your story. And
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing.
Girls in our thoughts.
yeah,
I have a
Thank
son
you.
that isn't even willing to be tested, so I know the fear that you feel.
yeah.
Yeah, after they got tested, they said they wish they didn't, but
I went.
knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. You
Well, I
can,
felt that way for the first couple of years after I tested positive. I was like, why do I even know this? It's ruining my life. But now I'm so grateful that I did find out. So they'll get to that point.
I mean, I was older too. Like, I experienced having children. I think that's a big fear. Like, are you going to be able to have a healthy baby? Is someone, I'm single and, divorced, and it's like, is someone who's going to love me like this, And can you imagine a 20-year-old thinking that? Like, who's going to, like,
Yeah.
There are a couple girls I know that have had healthy babies without a stomach.
Yeah, no, I see it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it does happen.
it does. Yeah.
The
The boy
the
doesn't want her because she doesn't want a stomach, then screw him anyway, right?
the doctor, the gynecologist, he's like, you do know the baby doesn't grow in your stomach. Yeah, we know that. Oh,
Oh.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
thank you. It's so nice to meet you,
So
and
nice.
thank
So
you.
good to meet you too.
Thank you for all you do. This is, the more awareness, the better. The more people that know about this is just, it's so good. I said I'm going to blog my story someday.
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even write a book.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
Christine.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Bye.
Thank
All right.
you.
Meeting you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.